In this video, I'm looking at Aeronautica Imperialis. Hello AOS fans, Robin here. Yes, I'm back again and I'm going to be doing an unboxing for you. You can hear it there. Yes, it's not a new unboxing. It's not a free product that we've got from GW like we're very fortunate to do. Sometimes it is a Aeronautica Imperialis box that I bought myself. Having watched Pete and John play a game, which should be up on our channel already. I'll put a link to it up there. You can see a very basic game of Aeronautica Imperialis, and I really liked what I saw, so much so that I went out and bought this from Will & Games. I'll put a link for them down in the description as well. Really great outfit, and it's connected to one of our Patreon supporters, so always happy to give them a shout out. They've got some really good deals on all sorts of Warhammer stuff, so do check them out. So Aeronautica Imperialis then, it's hex-based, which is what appealed to me and Pete and why we were keen to get John on and let him show us the game. He loves it. He's got millions of players. He's painted them really well. Do check him out on Instagram at John Grant Miniatures. Again, I'll put links down in below. And he's got a blog as well, John Grant Miniatures. Again, I'll put a link down to that below. And obviously, if you're watching this for the first time, then do all that liking and ringing the bell and all that kind of stuff. And so you get more content, whether we do it be Underworld or Aeronautica Imperialis or some other hex-based game. Pete and I are moving into the hexy world of war games. But I really liked Aeronautica Imperialis when I saw it. The models are fab. They don't look that difficult to paint, although I'll never get them as good as John's. But what I really liked about it is I've always enjoyed from afar X-Wing. I know it's got like a real serious competitive element to it, and people go nuts over the game. And I've never really been into that, but obviously it's Star Wars, and the fighters are brilliant. I mean, for me, my sort of best moment of childhood is that dogfighting between the X-Wings and the TIE fighters. But X-Wing had kind of left me a little bit cold. I think I like the idea of it. The movement templates in X-Wing drive me a bit potty because you have to keep that model aligned correctly all the time, and I'm a bit clumsy. And it's not ideal for those who are clumsy. And so I really like this hex, and there is still some facing and turning in this, but the hexes make it so much easier to keep on, even because if you do knock a model over, it's pretty much easier to get it right, where it wasn't to have less of an impact if you do get it wrong. So I really like that. I like the fact that it comes in a little box as well. It's only a little box. Let's have a little look inside. So I'll have a look on the back first, see what you do get inside. So you get 2 Astra Militarum Valkyrie assault carriers, 3 Imperial Navy Lightning fighters. I saw those in action in John's game. I really like the troop carriers; they're really cool models. And this set, Skies of Fire, comes with Tau. So I've obviously put the lid on the wrong way around. I've been looking at it. So you get 3 Tau Barracudas, 2 Tau Tiger Sharks, 1 rule book, 2 quick reference cards, a double-sided area of engagement, effectively the board, and all the tokens you need. Some 8 six-sided dice, so it's a GW game, therefore it's D6, and some transfers. So let's have a quick look. I mean, I won't spend a long time doing it because I say it's not a new product, but I will say I think, having now seen it, I think it's been criminally undersold. If you like, it's flown under the radar because it seems like a really good solid rule set without. It doesn't have too much buy-in. There are extras you can buy, but you can play a relatively a good game with this without investing too much more money. So I think this cost me about £40, £45. I can't remember exactly, but it's got enough in there. It's got about roughly 100 points per side. There's slightly less on the Imperial side, but you can boost that with some like fighter pilot aces or extra weapons and stuff. The Tau have the same option, but they have 112, I think, and 114 points, something like that, and the Imperials have 89. So, but you know, it's there. You can balance it out. And that's enough to play a solid game. I think they recommend around 100 points for a game. In the dogfight rules, they say anywhere between 25 and 250 points. Well, you know, 100-ish points sits firmly in the middle of that. 25 points, I think, pretty much is going to be one plane against one plane. Probably a good way to learn the game. And there's various levels of complexity, but again, you can see in the previous video that we've done, we haven't played with any altitude yet, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes when we do play a bit more. But anyway, let's shush for a second. There's the box, good quality GW box as you would expect. And then interestingly, I don't think I've ever seen this in a GW game before. It's a piece of bubble wrap. Yeah, normally they don't have bubble wrap, I don't think, but that has bubble wrap. And then there are lots and lots of sprues. Now somebody moaned a little bit at us that we'd made the models before our Underworld unboxing, but I haven't made them this time, so hopefully you're happy. I will hopefully take a bit on to the end of this when I finish to tell you how the building went. I'm not very good at building models, so it'll be interesting to see how I get on with these. There are various weapon options, always a little bit reticent to jump into GW games that have weapon options, because when you build your models, you just want to build what looks great. You want to build what's perhaps easiest to build, and you don't really want to be thinking about, well, when I've learned how to play the game, what weapon loadout am I going to want? That worries me a little bit, but I'm a little bit reassuring in this because the weapons are tiny. So to be honest, nobody's really going to say, but that isn't a whatever gun, that's a whatever gun, because just as long as you've got the card or the stat on your upgrade thing, it's fine, I think, especially playing casually. So I think it's got a little bit of kind of longevity in that. I won't suddenly wish, I don't even know what the weapons are, but I haven't put strafing machine guns on there when I should put las cannons or something like that. I don't know, but we'll see. So I'll build those and I'll come back to you. There's a bag of dice, not particularly big dice. Don't imagine we'll be using those. I almost feel like it would be too much of a headache that games companies should start selling games with or without dice. There's so many sets of D6 that I'm never ever going to use. I've got my preferred size D6s. Tokens, lots of tokens, and I actually really like the emblem on the back of those. It's really smart, I think. And then there's like some various. Yeah, most of them aren't. These are, I think, are the maneuver tokens. So the way the maneuvers work is you can choose one is like the easiest, simplest move, and all the way up to 8, which is the most complicated. Need a really deft fighter and pilot to pull off, and so you put these face down on the table and then flip them to reveal what's going on. So it's a bit like X-Wing in that respect. And then there's a few other bits and pieces here. I'm not quite sure what they are. There's probably a spin one. Looks like it's probably spin. And then maybe there's a sort of targety one here, I'm not sure, and there's some damage ones, and you can stall this one here in the red is probably stall. You can stall if you unsuccessfully produce a manoeuvre. There's some little stands for the bases, and each plane has its own base. It comes in a bag. Now we'll quickly show you these because they're quite interesting. I haven't actually assembled this myself, but I believe when you stand the peg, I'm not going to break them off, when you stand a peg in the base, if you don't glue the plane on, they fit into the ball really nicely, and they can be tipped. So when they're diving, you can tip them that way, and when they're stalled, you can put them that way, and then when they're flying, you can put them that way, which I think is quite a nice idea. And then they have this little dial in here, which you can turn, and I think has the altitude. So they're built in. It's not a fantasy flight game. Press the bit of plastic together. They are built in, so they have little dials which you can use to turn the speed. Depending on the fighter you're playing, that's the speed, and then you've got the altitude as well, which is pretty nice. So you can see at a glance what height you're flying at and what speed you're flying at, and then you can paint these different colours if you want to get your fire arcs and what have you on there. So they're nicely moulded hexagonal bases, which is pretty cool. So not only is it hexes in the game, it's hexagonal bases. Then we've got a couple of reference cards. I did already unpack this one, so not necessarily do all of them, which they came with. There's a couple of reference cards here. They have all the manoeuvres you can do on the back. Slightly frustrating. They're called ACE manoeuvres in the rulebook, but they're called movement diagrams on here. And then somewhere else it's called something like your manoeuvre characteristic. GW need to be more consistent in their rules writing on it. Maybe employ better proofreaders. But anyway, they're pretty smart. There are sort of 8 different ways of moving around the board. And then we've got the Skies of Fire starter scenarios. It's kind of intriguing. This is only a little separate pamphlet. I assume the text in here is essentially a reprint of the other boxes. I think there are now 3 boxes available. There's an Orc one, which I think has been on sale on GW at the moment, or around Warhammer Day. I think probably not very much longer by the time this video's got out, I'm afraid, but it has been on sale. That's Orcs and Marines, I think. This one is the Imperial Navy and Tau, and then there's another one which is some sort of Imperial Force and the Eldar. That's the newest one that's just come out. So you've got the rulebook, and you've got, I think that's probably the same, and then you've got these little missions, separate missions, and there's only three sides of paper to this, I think, but there's the mission. So you've got ambush, breakthrough, and the straggler, which are different things. So like an ambush is where the attacker gets sort of initiative to start off with, because you can surround the fighters, and then the breakthroughs, the defenders have got to break through out and escape, and the straggler, I think, is like there's been a bombing raid, and you could try and get the bomber out before you can probably get shot down, but you've got some defensive fighter pilots wafting around. It's pretty cool. And then there is one more in here, which is the dogfight, which is kind of just standard battle, which is there's just one. So there's only one rule, one kind of scenario in here. You've got 3 more here. Of course, this being a GW game, there are expansion sets, but more on that in a minute. So the rule book is only 37 pages long, which is quite good, really. It's pretty simple. I had a quick flick through this morning before I was doing this video, and it's very straightforward how to play. I have seen it played, and you can see it play, as I've said. So in the back of the rules here, you have the aeroplanes, the cards in there. They're not actually, you don't get cards in the box. You can buy cards. They're apparently in stock on GW at the moment. GW card games always the easiest things to get hold of. Underworlds is fine, but they do like cards for Necromunda, they're not the easiest, but they seem to be available. There's an Eldar pack, presumably, to go on top of the Aces and Aeroplanes pack, which I assume is like everything up to Eldar, and they've done a little Eldar extra. And they're about 20 quid. I don't know if you want those or not, but you can get them there. I guess you could scan this and print them out, maybe. But the rules, I say, they're very brief and quite simple, particularly if you don't play with altitude. It's even simpler. And so that, for me, is an ideal kind of rule set. I know, and this is where I think maybe GW missed a trick in pushing it, because I know a lot of people like the complexity of Kill Team. There's been a lot of talk about. Pete and I found the Kill Team rules a little bit complicated, but they haven't got you haven't got the complexity here. You've got a few planes, and you have got options. You can change the pilots, you can change the weapon loadouts and things like that. So there is some flexibility, but it's not too much. And there aren't great swathes of things available for it. There are a few extra planes. There's the I think they've just done the Thunderhawk, but there's various extra planes you can buy, but it's not too bad. And the release schedule isn't too punishing. A lot of people have found the punishing schedule for Underworlds. It's like Underworlds. You've got 8 war bands, and you've got to keep up. You don't have to keep up at all. You can just buy the planes you like the look of, and I don't know if there's much in the way of power creep within the game, but that's quite. It seems to me it's quite nice, quite self-contained. You can buy one of these boxes. You can just play with this in the box, or you can maybe get a couple of different boxes and play sort of 2 or 3 factions, mix it up, and then you maybe buy a couple of extra planes for the faction that's not Imperial. I don't know. I haven't really looked into that, but it just seems it's nice and easy, a casual game. I'm sure people do play it competitively, but a casual game that's kind of fun. You do at the bottom of here, which I haven't mentioned, get the playing surface. I think this is 3x3, and I think you can buy 3x3 cardboard board. It is just paper. That's probably all crackly. It is just paper. I will quickly open it. So I quickly opened it. So this is the board. I think it's 3x3. Maybe 3x3 or thereabouts. And it's double-sided. I'm not going to open it fully because I won't be able to manipulate it. There you go. It's double-sided. You've got some different features on there. You have actually got some, I guess, tau scenery on there. Maybe some tau scenery there. It's quite nice. I like it. I do like a board. You can buy extra boards. I think if I was playing it regularly, I'd want to. This is a bit shiny. I think if I was playing it regularly, I probably would want to invest in a board. But you don't have to, which is the beauty of it, and it all plays on there, which is really nice. So you can just have this set, enjoy it. Probably have a number of games. There's 4 different scenarios, different things you can do, and then maybe just buy a couple of extra plays. The plane sets are about £20-25. Add them to it and just change it up slowly, which I think is really nice. So that is Aeronautica. Okay, we're going to be featuring this on the channel in future because I have invested some money in it. So looking forward to seeing how it goes. Let me know if you play. Let me know if you've played and didn't like it. And we'll see you soon. I should say there is a little bit in the rule, but not a lot. But there is a campaign mode where you can get experience and you, I guess, string scenarios together. But they are in the source books that they do. I think there are 2 or 3 source books now. I think there might be 2, one for each of these 2 star sets. There's a new one for the new star set with the old. I mean, it hasn't come out yet, but you've got a couple of different source book options there. They're available electronically, or you can buy. I'm not sure how easy Rin's World is to get hold of now. It wasn't on the GW website when I was looking at it as a physical book, but you can still buy the EPUB version. But that has extra rules and things like all GW games are expandable. Haven't tried it. don't know what it's like, but maybe if you like us playing and we get captured by it, maybe we'll get those and invest and see how you can expand the game. But yeah, that's it. So let us know what you think, and we'll see you soon on the Age of Sigmar.